Welcome to Preneurship Diaries. Today we have with us Anjali Sinha. She is a journalist, editor, content developer, and strategist who romanticizes book characters too much. She fell in love with books when her mum bought her first storybook in grade 1. She loves cookies, new cities, and philosophical conversations with optimism. She's constantly found nestled under a duvet, making stories up in her head. Her words have appeared in the Decadent Review, PaperKat Books, Radishfiction, Times of India, etc. She has just self published a full length romance novel, Miles Within Constellations, and her first self love poetry compilation called All the Poems I Wrote for You. Both are currently available to purchase on Amazon. So, Anjali, welcome to my show. So glad to talk to a fellow writer and so happy to converse with you on words, stories, and many things more.
I'm so grateful to be here and I want to have this conversation with you. I'm like really optimistic and enthusiastic to share and also to learn from you whatever I can.
Wonderful. That's so amazing. And it's certainly my pleasure to have you here. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, my first
Yeah.
question to you is what triggered your interest in books and when did you get into writing?
To be honest with you, I started writing when I was like a little child. My first short story was about my cousin who used to torture me, and she used to live with us.
Okay.
She was pursuing her matriculation
Uh-huh.
from my house, and she used to look after us. We were little, and we do not have a mom, so she used to live with. She didn't like me at all, so I wrote my first. It was not a book. It was like more like a short story, and she found it, and
Ah,
there were some repercussions to that.
okay.
After that, I started writing in school. I mean, I used to attend a Catholic, like private English school. So I didn't like the way the teachers taught, I guess. I don't know. No, I was bored. I also get bored like really quickly. So I had this small novel that I was creating in my head. I was really fascinated by Enid Blyton. Remember her books, Famous Five,
Yes.
uh,
See,
Five Goes to the Seaside, like books like that. Five Goes on a, and also Hardy Boys. I was reading a lot of Nancy Drew.
yeah.
I wanted to explore that thriller, like childlike thriller. So I was writing one myself. It was bad, but it was something. I was writing that through seventh to eighth grade, and I was also caught by my teacher in math class. I remember I was writing through school, and my teacher caught me, and he gave me a hard time about it because I was not paying attention at all, scribbling, in my
Right.
notebook. And I was so meticulous about it. I bought like six different color pens. Every chapter was in a different color. I mean, oh my god, I felt like I had so much enthusiasm for writing. Right now, when I want to write, I'll just get on my Google Docs. I can't be bothered by even finding a pen and a diary. But back in seventh grade, I had a lot of energy to write books. I guess more than what I have right now. I was so enthusiastic about it. It's adorable looking back. Was like, yeah, that girl wanted to be a writer. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's so wonderful. I mean, because I think it was, you were being creative right from at that age. I think being in school and thinking about characters and, of course, divulging in, a whole lot of books. And it Blyton, I mean, I can so relate to it because I used to like read Famous Five, Secret Seven, Mallory
Secret
Towers.
Seven, yeah, Mallory Travers goes to the first grade, their first
Yes.
home stories,
Oh,
where they
yes.
sneak and go to their I don't know where, and they steal a lot of food. That's That scene is still in my head, like eating salmon. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yes,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, I can so totally resonate with you because I myself have, I've grown with all those books, and it certainly is wonderful, of course, to imagine and put yourself out there in their shoes and figure it all out. But so
We could so relate to that because
yeah,
even Indian schools had kind of that British-esque kind of pedagogy, and
right.
the teachers also behave in a similar way. And we also had the library full of books, and it was a chance of escapism. Whatever is going on in your life, maybe your life is boring, but
Yes.
one thing I loved about reading books was when you were reading books, nobody judged you.
Yeah.
The books accept you as you come. So,
True. True. So
yeah, that's
true.
what I loved about it.
Lovely and so amazing that you got into this creative field right from the very start, right from your childhood. So brilliant. So I want to further know about your experience in the writing and editing field since the time you graduated in English literature. So how has that journey been?
Uh, Actually, I started giving writing a shot before I even graduated college. Like after 12th grade, I was studying to get into medical colleges.
Mhm.
Like every parents wants your child to be like, go be a doctor, because
Yes. Yeah.
what's there out in the world for you to do.
Right.
So I was studying for pre-med, and I was feeling kind of hopeless. I mean, didn't really want to be a doctor, like it was something, a familial expectation shoved down my throat. And I wanted to connect to something, like I wanted to have a hobby, because I wrote around like 8th grade, like that book I was talking about, I worked on it. But when in when you're like in high school, or like the Indian version of high school, you stop all of your hobbies around 9th grade, because you're preparing for 10th, and then after 10th you're preparing for 12th, and then after 12th you're preparing to, or during 12th you're preparing to get into med school, or you're preparing to get into law, or whatever else there is. So like I stopped my hobbies, and by the time I finished 12th, I got good marks. I was like, I needed a hobby, I needed an outlet. As a
Right.
creative person, you have a lot of creative passion or juices, and if you do not if there's no escape as a creative person, if you feel like I have a lot of creative energy and there's no outlet, you get anxiety, you get depression. That's what I was feeling. I was feeling like really alone. I felt like there's no one to connect to. I didn't have many friends, because when I started studying so hard, I didn't have any time to maintain friendships. You kind of get isolated from your friends. So I was like, what should I do now? So I remembered, oh, remember you used to write? How about giving that a shot again? So I just grabbed a book, just a normal notebook, and started writing the story about. It was a very cliche thing. I was writing about a bad boy high school romance, but it was something. So I started scribbling, and then it became like an idea. So I wrote the first chapter. I just really, it was very spontaneous. I
Mm.
went on Android and I searched for online publishing, free
Oh, wow.
publishing, and I found Wattpad, and Wattpad was very new. I'm talking about like 2013, 2014 era.
Right.
Wattpad has just been launched, and I was like, okay, this app is the best thing ever. I can share my chapters for free, and people will read and comment. And back then I didn't have like a money earning mindset. I just wanted to share my creative work.
Right.
For me, a like or a comment on my story made me feel so special. I felt like I mattered, and somehow young people want to belong somewhere. It was like also a community. I had a sense of belonging, so I kept posting that story. And after 35 chapters, I was like, I'm going to end this book now because it's a mess and it's also cringy. I even remember it being cringy, and I went back and read it. It was cringy, so I stopped writing that. So
Oh.
I moved on to another books. So yeah, that was my story around writing that. And that book kind of got famous on Wattpad because Wattpad was new, and
Hmm.
it was not so saturated back then, so
Right.
people were reading it, and it was kind of that niche of writing bad boy romance. It was like really famous, and if you wrote a book like that, people are going to read. So I got a few followers, people will leave me comments, messages. So I thought, kind of got the idea that maybe I can write, So I moved on to. I also, around that time, I felt like maybe I can support myself with this, and from a very young age, I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to be, dependent on my dad for any kind of money, like pocket money or anything I wanted. So. I went on Facebook and started searching for like writing, creative writing jobs, and perhaps I commented on some random post, and a person got back to me and they were like, we are hiring for a content creative writer in Mumbai. It's a full-time role, will you be up for that? And I was already doing my after what happened, it didn't tie up the med story, did I? So I
Yes.
I got in med school.
Okay.
I got the invitation letter, not in acceptance letter, more like it.
Right.
And I was supposed to show up in Bangalore.
Ah.
Would you believe, in a all girls college? And I was like, I'm not going to an all girls college, not good, and I'm not studying med. So I told my dad that I do not want to pursue medical, and my dad was heartbroken. He didn't even talk to me for like months.
Oh.
Well, and perhaps it was a year. He didn't really. He was like, what do you want to do then? I was like, and back at that time I was so lost. I was like, what do I like? I don't even know what I like anymore,
Oh.
because I've made my whole life medical. I was like,
Mm.
then I remembered the one thing that I liked was reading books, perhaps literature. So when my dad really had a talk with me, like, what do you want to do? What degree do you want to have? I was like, perhaps I'll get a degree in literature because I like reading books. And my dad rolled his eyes like, do you really want a like bachelor in arts degrees? There's no jobs for that. I was like, right now, that's what I want. You know,
Mm.
that's what I need. So I got in, and I was really good at literature because I loved reading, and I can write thoughtful things, and
Yeah.
it's not really difficult. So around the second year of my college, I felt like I have a lot of time, because I can really finish the whole course curriculum in like a month or two.
Yeah.
Mm, the kind of avid reader that I am, I can finish everything in like a month or two, and I have the whole year. So I found a
Right.
job, started uh, writing for that company, and
Mm.
also got just because I was writing there, and they were always looking for more, content writers, things like that, and also had a lot of time. So I started my own writing website where I would
Mm.
like post blogs, food reviews,
Right.
interviews, poetry, short stories, god knows what. I had a lot of enthusiasm for writing. I was writing on Wattpad, another story got a lot of reads. So I was how do I say, they kind of invited me to a very uh, exclusive kind of writing website, that is Radishfiction now.
Okay.
So back then they will invite you if they wanted you in the writers program, and you
Mm.
would get paid if your story would get reads, and somebody would pay coins, so you will get paid. So I got accepted into that, so I took that. And I kept doing that. I kept running my writers website, and an year into doing all of that, I was I went to a place, I went to a restaurant, I liked their food, so I wrote a very elaborate food review. I was acting like I was a food reviewist from Guardian or something. So I
Right.
wrote an article like that, and happened to be around the same block where Times of India is.
Mm-hmm.
So the senior manager went to grab lunch there, and he kind of saw that there was something like get like 10% discount.
Right.
You know, the restaurant had some kind of offer like that if you like our Facebook page. So when I, wrote that food review, I tagged the restaurant in it because it was a good restaurant, and
Okay.
people used to eat there. So the man happened on my review by chance, like completely by chance.
Okay.
He liked it. He asked the restaurant manager for my number. He was like, can you find the number? Did the customer leave a number? And it kind of did, because I wanted to know if they will have like future offers or things like that. So I left my number, and the restaurant manager gave my number to him. And then I got a call from Times of India. They were like, would you like to join as like a special correspondent, or
Ah,
would you like to do like a freelance kind of thing? Whatever you want to, you can come down and we can arrange something for you, like as per your needs. Was still in college, so I was like, I have to see how much I can take, because I
right.
also have to manage everything. So back then I did like reviews. I will do articles that they will send me, like, like, how do you say, like last time basis that came out of nowhere, and they will send that to me after I finished college. I took on more, um, trainers jobs where they will give me like whole editorials,
Hmm.
features. I did like proper journalistic work. I
Okay.
went to, institutions. I also worked on the marketing division. So I went everywhere to, for example, uh, jewelry chain that's like really
Hmm.
um, famous in the city. They are
Okay.
opening the new showroom. So you
Hmm.
have to go to the new showroom, and you have to get like a whole feature of the showroom,
Right.
the man who's running it, and his life history. So there's another editorial about that. You also have to get the pictures. You have to see how the pieces are priced, if they're good or if they're like higher than the market range, things like that. They're like very
Right.
specific work and also very general work. So I did a lot of work with Times of India for like 3 years, and then I also got bored from that. So I thought like, let's do some editing.
Okay.
Because I'm like really bored with. I felt like I'm not learning anything new in
Mm.
my journalism career. It's the same thing, meeting people, learning about their life stories, then crafting an article from that, a feature, perhaps an editorial. I also covered a lot of award functions of theirs, press events. Like, it got boring after a while, so I was
Right.
like, what's something new I can do? So I
Hmm.
learned editing. I was already editing all of my articles for the
Right.
newspaper,
Right.
and I didn't have any qualms from writing and editing a piece on such short notice. Like, I could write like 15,000 words overnight because it's supposed to appear in the next day's paper, and
Right.
that's just how it is, and I have to like manage everything. So I was already doing all of that, and I already had experience. So I took a couple of courses,
Hmm.
also educated myself how to do proper editing, got a couple of clients. My recent client, the one that I just edited,
Right.
her book was picked up by her national newspaper,
Ah.
and it got a review in the literary section. And my client sent it to me, and I was like, I'm so pumped for you, because it has not happened for me yet. I was so
Yeah.
happy, and she was like, it was so properly edited. Even in the review, the person who was writing the review, they mentioned that, okay, the book is so wonderfully edited, it
Okay.
just flows, makes sense. I help her, like, she was like a first time author, sure, so she needed a lot of help with
Okay.
everything, developmental editing, like, structuring the story, character development, pacing. So I
Mm.
helped her a lot with that, and gave her a lot of, like, help, like support, and I gave her suggestions. Perhaps if you added this, maybe the reader would want to know. I'm just happy for her that her book turned out so great and it was picked by her. national newspaper. That's the best that can happen for a book. Got like wide publicity,
I
and
know.
it's like unpaid publicity. You do not like really have to pay for it.
Right.
That was nice. So yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, kudos to you on that, and congratulations for being the editor for that book. And I mean, yes, I mean, I can so imagine. I mean, you have worked on various genres, and also got the experience of working with a whole lot of people and things. So that gets me to this question. With the thing that I know, I mean, you mentioned about your dad being skeptical about you getting into literature. I think that's so with
He still is.
yes.
Honestly, he still is. Still is.
Yes, I think that's how our parents, I mean, or the generations earlier, I mean, think about it. So, my question here is, do you think writing can become a lucrative career or is a lucrative career choice? What is your view on that?
I feel like writing is already a lucrative career because I got my first job when I didn't even have a degree. I was writing for the national newspaper. Times of India is a national newspaper. It has
Absolutely.
branches all over India, and if you like work with them, even if your English is like subpar, and if you have like problems expressing yourself in English, you still learn a lot. You get a lot of experience. You get a lot of experience which college can't provide to you.
True.
You get the experience of talking to new people. You get out of your comfort bubble, where you live in your head. Everybody does. And then you're talking to new people, you're learning to express yourself, you're putting yourself in positions where you didn't really expect yourself to be in.
Right.
Let me tell you, like the first day I went to the office, they handed me a job, and it was like an appointment with the client like an hour later. And they were like, they didn't give me any kind of structure, they didn't give me any kind of guidance, feedback. They were like, go and cover this story. And I was put on the spot, and I'm a shy person. I was like, how will I do this? Then something inside me embroidered itself, and it was like, you can do this and you will do this. And I feel like there's two people living in my body. One is this shy person, and one is this person who wants to take on over the world. And I was like, really, do we have to do that? But I feel like when you're put into a position
Right.
spontaneously, which journalism or writing does to you, uh, you learn a lot about yourself, because writing is all about observation.
Right.
If I'm sitting with you here right now and we are having this chat, we are having this conversation, example, I'm uh, doing this interview with you for the national newspaper, and I have, we are having this chat.
Right.
You have some kind of perspective on this chat, and I have some kind of perspective on this chat,
True.
but I will carve a story out of it by the end of the chat.
Yeah.
And that's what I do for a living.
Nice.
That's all what writing is. And I feel like writing can be a lucrative career if you know how to tell stories. And some writers tell me, because I'm in a couple of writing support groups, they tell me that I have problems with ideas and inception. And I feel like if you're really a writer, you know, you will actively search for stories out of everything. You will be looking for stories with, like, what is that called, that Sherlock Holmes had in his
The magnifying
in
glass. Yeah.
the magnifying glass, and you'll be like, where's my next story coming from?
Yes.
What is she saying? For example, I was watching this Netflix comedy special yesterday about Taylor Tomlinson. I think that's what her name is. And
Mhm.
she has like a comedy special, and she gets into this great part in the special where she says, in this very sarcastic, dry sarcastic tone, that, I do not give a shit if you do not treat me right. I can
Yeah.
bake cookies for you, or I can make your whole life miserable. I do not give a shit either way. I need a project. And that kind of, when she said that, that really fascinated me, because that was like a character in my head, and she is conversing with me, and I'm thinking about like what led you to this point to say that,
Mm.
what led you to this point to feel that. And that's how writing works,
Yeah.
and that's how storytelling works. And if you go into it with a plan, and better yet, if you have a mentor, this can become a full-fledged career. Think about Amish, it was
Yes.
Ish,
Amish. Yeah.
Amish
Yeah.
Tripathi, and
Yes.
he self-published his first book, and then he didn't take no for an answer.
Right.
It's like in every career. Are there any given is there any given path to any career? If you can get like an engineering degree and you can just sit at your home for like the next 10 years.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. True. Absolutely. I mean, I totally resonate with you. And of course, it's all about getting into the act and be, I mean, if you want to be a writer, I think it's all about exploring yourself in different genres and putting yourself out there and keep on writing. I think that's what it is. Uh,
Exactly,
yeah.
that's what I wanted to say. To keep putting yourself out there consistently.
Yes.
People think that perhaps I will write one book and it will be, I will be found, and Karan Johar would be making the next movie about my book. No, that's not how it happens. You
Exactly.
have to keep out around you should be able to put out at least 5 to 6 books before you get any traction, because you do not have an audience out
Right.
there.
True.
Nobody knows you. If I was not here, would you know me? If I would not be writing, if I would not be putting myself out there on LinkedIn or on Facebook
Yeah.
or anywhere,
Yes.
would you know me? Would you know that I write a book? No.
Yeah.
You have to keep writing, and you have to keep putting yourself out there. Marketing also plays a huge role.
Right.
You have to also build enthusiasm about what you write. And I get like some writers are like, oh, but I do not know how to market, but oh, I do not know how can I market my book. I mean, are you hearing yourself? It's a product.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you're not enthusiastic about your product, how can I expect Shweta or Pooja or Neha to be excited about it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. All right. So I want to know what were or are the challenges regarding your journey in the writing and editing space?
I think when I started writing, I didn't know like a lot of things come into play here. Being an Indian citizen, I feel like there's a very stark problem with our education, because when
Mm.
we are in school, we can go to the highest paid schools and we still achieve a level of like the language level, like A1 or B1. I think at most Indian schools get you ready for like a B1 if you go to the best schools in India.
Right.
You get like a B1 language level in English.
Mm.
But with writing, you need at least B2, because in if you get like B2 level of education in or like, how do you say,
Accreditation.
accreditation,
Yes.
yeah, in English.
Yeah.
When you get that, what you're doing is you can like professionally or academically fluently mellifluously write your
Yes.
thoughts down
Yes.
completely. So, and that's what writing is basically. You are telling stories from one person's POV, like point of view.
Right.
So that's what it's needed. And I didn't have that. Like, I come from Patna. It's a very small city in Bihar, but it's the capital city. So we had like good schools, English private schools and whatever. That's the like norm in India. But still, my school didn't put me up for success like Indian schools say that they do, but they do not. Let me be honest with you, they do not.
Mm.
So I had to like learn everything by myself. I have even forgotten how to use punctuation when I started writing by the end of 12th grade. And will you believe me how much I got in my 12th boards? I got 96 in English. How were they giving me 96?
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to use like proper punctuation. It says something about CBSE,
Right.
says something about them.
Yeah.
And I was like really bitter about it because people my same age from countries like even Turkey. I have friends from all over the world. I was, like exposed to that environment because I joined Wattpad and then I followed a lot of authors who were publishing, and I had friends from all over the world. Like every country you can imagine, I was stalking, and they were all like girls, teenagers. We were writing and we were excited. We were excited about learning about the craft, storytelling, and
Right.
we also used to pump each other up, like, I love the chapter you wrote, I love this paragraph, this is what I'm feeling right now. So
Yeah.
that was there. So but I also saw that these girls were writing better English than me.
Mm.
Better English translates into better, proper, how do I say, proper writing about any
Yeah.
character's POV, because their prose was crisp,
That's
and I wanted my prose to be crisp, right? I wanted to write gripping sentences, short sentences, gripping sentences, so a reader will be, like caught when they were on the first chapter, and I didn't have that, and I was like, what's wrong with me? But then again, I realized I have to learn a lot before I can write at their level,
right.
and that came easily to them because their schools did put them up for success, or also because they were coming from countries where English is the first language. Like they some girls from Australia, some were from America, some were from UK.
Right.
So English was their first language, and it
Right.
came like easily to them. They didn't have to work for it, but I have to.
Mm.
And I cannot like put myself in a corner and be like, yeah, but I'm English and English is my second language. I
Yeah.
cannot be a crybaby. It's just what is. And
Yeah.
life is not fair sometimes. I'm learning that still. So I had to learn, and I had to learn quick. So I was on all of these websites where they are teaching you English.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning about the rules. I'm googling small things like, where do you use like a and an and the. That's what my Google searches were like when I was
Right.
in 12th grade. I was teaching myself English from the core. I taught myself grammar, everything again, punctuation,
Right.
how to write sentences. Also, I worked on my craft. How can I make this sound like this is what the character is feeling, thinking. So that was my beginning problems with writing. And as the time went, there's not just writing, that's the craft that I get. But then again, if you are an author in India and you're not someone known, you're not like a Bollywood celebrity, you're not working for the Indian government, then
Yeah.
the four or the five big, I think there's just four big publishing houses, but in the world we get like five. We
Right.
count five. I think, I don't know if that company is like really active in India. I don't know. So you get like there are five
Yeah.
publishing houses in
Yes.
the world, and they will not be interested in you, and unless you have an audience, they
Mm.
will not be interested in you either. So what
Right.
do? You write your own books and you market them, and if you do not have a mentor to guide you, like I have to learn everything, and I was learning this from the age of 14.
Right.
And I've been what do you say, lucky in a sense that I was exposed to Wattpad, and through my peers I learned everything that's going in the publishing world, and I've been an active writer in one way or the other
Right.
in the writing and the publishing world for so many years. And I've seen my friends go through so many things. I've seen them receive publishing deals. One of my friends is published, one of their books is coming out
Huh?
in France.
Oh
So
wow.
they got like a publishing deal from HarperCollins. Some of my
Oh.
friends are also older women now, because I
Yeah.
somehow my friends from US are now older women, like in 40s, 50s. They're writing for Netflix publishing deals, and one of their books were turned into a Netflix series.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm seeing all of these things, and I'm learning from them. it's like a first hand experience now, because I'm friends with them, so I know like what works in the publishing industry in India as well as outside. And the kind of books I write, I want to be published outside. That's one of my goals.
Yes.
But I'm also writing for an Indian audience as well. Right now I'm working on a book that's like completely Indian, and like it's also a high school romance that was also bubbling inside me. It's based in Mumbai, and I'm working on the second draft now. First draft has been written, so it's getting published soon, I hope.
Right.
So I'm in the process of editing it, and then I'm gonna get like an editor that's not me to get that book like completely edited before it gets on Amazon. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm learning from my peers.
Mm.
So but a new person who decides, perhaps a girl somewhere in India, she gets on Wattpad. Wattpad is still accessible, and I literally tell everyone whenever somebody messages me like, "How do I write like you?" or "How do I get into the writing business?" I tell them,
Right.
"Go on Wattpad.
Yeah.
That's the best way to expose yourself and learn so much. Like,
Mm.
just be a wallflower, and just learn and see, and you'll see so many things, you will learn so much.
Right.
Otherwise, get a mentor, you know get services from people who have already done these things
Right.
and learned. I've
Mm.
been publishing on Radish as well, so Wattpad was a different community and Radish is a
Yeah.
different community,
Yes.
different target audience, different kind of marketing, different kind of books are getting published. So you have to set up yourself for success. Either get a mentor or do it yourself, but it takes a couple of years, like
Yes.
sometimes 9 to 10 years to succeed.
Right.
And in that time your parents are looking at you like you're a loser. So yeah.
Yes, I mean, quite. I think with writing, what I feel is we get to learn about ourselves better, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a journey that happens inside, even though we're putting out work for others to read. I think that's so lovely with respect to
And
writing.
I'm kind of happy that readers do not know which part of characters are me, because I write so many characters. They will be like, they're also like cringy part of ourselves or insecurities, and you're like, I'm glad that people do not know this about me, because
Yes,
it'll be weird if they knew this about me, and
yes.
they would not know how fragile I am or mentally unstable I am perhaps. So that also is a good, reminder that that's what writing is. I feel like it's the cheapest form of therapy. You should do it once in a while.
Totally, totally, absolutely. All right. So my next question to you is, what do you mean when you say you are a Kindlepreneur?
When I say that I'm a Kindlepreneur, is something I've learned that you can literally turn publishing on Kindle a business. For
Hmm.
example, I'm seeing that Kindle industry, like Kindle publishing, is booming in the last 2 or 3 years, and the boom hasn't happened yet; it's still happening,
Yes.
and I'm seeing a lot of people publish their stories on Kindle.
Hmm.
But what I see with Indian writers, other than the ones that get like traditionally published, or if you go through Notion Press,
Right.
I see the biggest thing that Indian authors get wrong, because you can get like following from all over the world. Do you know the potential, right?
Yeah.
If your book gets like sticks in any genre, any niche, you can build an audience from all over the world. But what Indian authors do wrong is that they will write a book, but they will not work on improving it. They are not writing the second draft or the third draft. Do they know that how much US authors work on their books before they
Yes.
send it to an agent or get it
Right.
traditionally published? Because they're willing to put in that work, and
Mm.
every book requires work. And not only that, it's fine if you do not know where to how to start writing the second draft, because uh you're not aware of the challenges your story might have. Then
Yeah.
hire an editor. you know Indian editors do not charge as much as they charge in the US. In
Right.
US, an average editor charges like 1,500 to 2,000
Mm.
200 sorry $2,000.
Yeah.
1,500 to $2,000. That's
Mm-hmm.
like on one draft, and then you get it at your second draft edited. You pay that again, and in India, an average editor might charge you like 30,000 or like
Mm-hmm.
40,000, and it's
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah.
When and you know you're paying 40,000 for someone editing your 80,000 book. It's like 0.5 paisa per word. There's nothing more cheaper than, you know, exploiting the resources that are handed off to you. And I know there are a lot of editors on LinkedIn that are not legit. I hired one myself
Mm-hmm.
on my first book, even though I'm an editor, and I edited it like 6 times, and I wanted someone else to do like the fine tuning, and I still
Right.
felt like she didn't know what she was doing. But
Ah.
also you have to get like a sample edit, then ask for a sample edit, like can you
Right.
do the first page or the first two pages, then you will see if the editor knows what to edit. Like some, and what she was doing is like she was editing one or two words of a perfectly line edited sentence. That's not why I hired you.
Yeah.
I hired you to work on the dialogue. I hired you to, you know, keep up the pacing. And I told this, like, I've already gotten in line and copy edited, I need you to do the other work. And
Right.
she didn't know what she was. But what should I say, there are people like that on LinkedIn, and so
Yeah.
you have to be wary of what kind of editor you choose. You have to look at their experience. I already have an experience working with a national newspaper. I have experience writing and editing, and I've worked on, you know, romance novels. So you have to go on my LinkedIn and you have to check, like,
Right.
oh, she knows what she's doing. Also edited Vivo's magazine, so you can see like I've edited different kind of literary articles, books, you know, newspapers, so I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But when I went on her, you know, LinkedIn, I didn't see any formal training or formal editing experience. They were just like one or two clients. But then you can get any clients on LinkedIn. People,
Right.
because like I said, Indian people do not know the difference between B1 English and A2 English, or like A2 and B2. You will only know that when you have that kind of knowledge, you know.
Right. Yeah.
You won't know from A to B if you do not know what B is. If you do not know what is a pineapple and an orange, what does it matter to you if I give you pineapple in
Yeah.
place of orange, or an orange in place of pineapple? And I was like, and when I asked her like, why did you do that, she was like, but you gave me the money to do this. I told you that I would not do this. And I was like, this is what gets me, you know.
Yeah.
When you are asking like in a very professional manner, why didn't you do your work
Right.
from editors
Yeah.
that you hired from LinkedIn, they kind of like talk back to you, and in a very derogatory way. It's like
Mm.
they become defensive.
Yeah.
They're not backing up their work by, oh, I did copy editing, I did this and I did that, and I did developmental editing. No, they get defensive. And that's when you know that you've hired the wrong editor, because
Mm.
they got
Yes.
defensive. So
Yeah.
you have to be wary. I told you like three things how you can check. That's what I check. And that's why I also learned from my friends in
Mm-hmm.
experiences. There are a couple of authors who also self-publish. So they told me that's what you look for, Anjali. Just do
Right.
not just pick up a person who doesn't have any formal training, but they have like, oh, I'm an editor in my LinkedIn tagline.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So coming to Meltdown, so could you tell us what it is all about? And yes, waiting to hear about it.
So a lot of my inspiration comes from Charles Dickens. I do
Hmm.
not know why.
Right.
Me and Charles Dickens have some kind of deja vu connection, which I do not know, because every time I've gotten really low in my life, I go and read Great Expectations or
Ah,
Oliver Twist.
yes.
And they are very depressing stories, don't
Yeah.
army. They are very
They
depressing
are.
stories.
They
You
are.
shouldn't read that when you're already depressed. So, and it's very weird the way things have happened. Like, I cannot explain the connection, but
Hmm.
when I was starting to, before I was writing on Radish, I was reading Charles Dickens, and somehow Radish came into my life. And I found out that Charles Dickens, do you know Charles Dickens was publishing serials before serial publishing serialized fiction was a thing?
Oh.
He introduced it to the world. And then I was writing serialized fiction. Then I found out that Charles Dickens used to write a literary magazine. And I also looked for literary magazines in India. There are none. There are probably like three or four. Any literary magazine
Yeah.
shouldn't ask you for money
Mm.
unless they are like understaffed, or if they have like such a big stature.
Right.
I Unless they are mentioning it that there's a fee to event submit.
Right.
and and I think I charged people to submit for the first edition,
Mm.
because I also wanted to see like what kind of people are submitting, and like what kind of stories or articles am I getting, how much work will I have to do.
Right.
And I charged like really little. It could be paid by anyone. I charge like 150 bucks. 150 rupees is
Mm-hmm.
basically nothing in today's money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I let people submit like 2000 to 10,000 word articles and short stories. That's literally nothing. That's an entry fees.
True.
And some literary websites in America, like now I just submit to America because there are not a lot of literary websites in India.
Mm.
Anyway, there are like two or three. Like I said, the Bombay Review, there's a Bangalore Review that charges like $3.50 for per poetry review or whatever.
Mm.
And there are a couple more. Five of them are not working. Two or
Yeah.
three of them are working, and they're charging money in like a backhanded manner. Give me money if you want your.
Right.
So if you are like choosing my work, then it already had some value,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you should publish it. Basic editing doesn't take a lot of time,
Mm.
and my writing was already good enough for you to choose. And then they didn't ask me for a lot of money anyway, but still felt like derogatory in the sense that if you wanted, you should have asked for entry.
Right. Right.
That's how you catch literary websites that are not really, how do I say, good,
Authentic.
because
Yeah.
authentic, because good literary websites that have any value or
Mm.
weightage, they will not ask you for money to publish your work unless they ask for you for an entry fees. That's I feel like that's validated, because you need money to run a literary website. You need to pay editors, you need it for marketing activities, you need it for
Right.
multiple things, running the website, everything, maintenance, things like that. But I feel like when you submit, and the anything, a literary publication or a magazine, if they're asking you money afterwards, there's a catch
Catch to
22.
it. Yes.
And that really gave me a very bad vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not going to let it be, let the story not be known if it's so bad.
Yeah.
So I just published it as a short story on Amazon. So I was like, yeah, not going to submit. And then I submitted another story to them that they didn't like, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get any response. So just moved ahead and submitted to other uh, US based websites. One of them was like Decadent Review, but I do not know if the Decadent Review is in US or is it in Germany, but I found it
Okay.
on a US job board kind of thing.
Right. Uh-huh.
All right, so I do not know, because the editor and I talk, and the editor is German, so I
Okay.
they could be living in
Yeah.
US as well, but I do not really know.
Yes.
So there's that. The
Okay.
Meltdown, what happened? So I read that Charles Dickens was running a literary, magazine. So
Mm-hmm.
I looked for a couple of magazines, because I also write and submit. I
Right.
couldn't find much, so I was like, why don't I start it?
Yeah.
And it was when like the pandemic hit India, and it was like not big in May, but we were all in complete lockdown. Everybody was inside, and I was tired of watching TikTok videos. So I was like, what should I do? How
Yeah.
could I be productive? So I was also writing. Like my daily routine is to write something, anything. It could be a
Mm.
poetry, it could be a short story.
Yeah.
So, and when I edited like I perfected, then I will go and find magazines to submit
Right.
it to them, and whoever
Right.
likes it. And I never pay any fees, so
Yeah.
I'm like cheap in that manner.
Mm.
So I do not pay any fees to get my I want them to stand by their own, by
Yeah,
the value of their work.
absolutely.
So,
Yes.
and I looked for a couple of magazines. Like I said, three of them were working. So I
Mm-hmm.
submitted to the Bombay Review, the Bangalore Review, blah blah blah, and others were not working. And I was like, isn't this so bad? Like,
Yeah.
this is why Indian people do not read, because there are not enough magazines.
Right.
We should have at least 20 to 50 literary magazines if we want the in young Indian people to have that literary vigor. If
Yes.
we want to create pieces of literature that touches the whole world, we need to have that kind of environment. And I know a lot of writers exist in India. There are people writing dumb poetry on Facebook, and then there are people who are writing those Instagram poetry posts, like,
Yeah.
I whatever, like weird, like one liners. Everybody
Right.
wants to be Rupi Kaur these days. So yeah,
Yeah.
so people were writing, so I was like, why is there not an outlet?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna start it. So I started that indie magazine. First, I like I told you, the first edition I charged like an entry fee. Then I saw that people were demoralized. They didn't even want
Mm.
to pay like a basic 150 bucks. So I was
Mm.
like, then let's just take off everything. And I started to do it in my I like found time to do all the editing, because it needs editing, it needs marketing,
Yes.
everything. So I also have to take that time out of my already busy writing. I also have to publish regularly on Radish. I have to work on my book, so I have to take
Right.
time out to even sustain that. So I started doing that. First, I thought that I will run it monthly, but now it's bi-monthly, and right now it's on hiatus because
Oh.
I got like really sick for like a whole month in April. So,
Mm-hmm. All right.
and I also didn't get like a lot of submissions this month. I do not know, because maybe India is so badly hit with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of going on a hiatus with the magazine for like a month or two,
Right.
and then publish, like edit everything and then publish everything. So yeah, but people are reading it. I'm seeing even like people are buying it from Europe, and yeah, so people are buying the earlier editions that I
Right.
have. And I have decided to not put it on a website for right now, because I want to build like an audience before I launch like the website,
Yes.
because then it's not that fruitful. But then I'll do it later on, before I want it to be just a magazine, like an
Yes.
ebook or a paperback that people can buy and read on their phones. Want to go old school with that.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the that was the whole motto, because we are too like caught up with websites and everything. We do not read. We are on websites, we are scrolling, but we are not
We're not
reading.
reading. Yes. Totally true. And so amazing and lovely that you've started this initiative with respect to the magazines, the literary magazines. And I just hope that, it grows more audience and more readers and more
Hopefully,
people,
because
putting out their work out into your magazine. So, yes. Right. Okay. So Anjali, could you tell us what are the services that you provide for? I mean, it could be companies or in the advertising space or others, and also to individuals. So what is the gamut of services that you offer?
I offer writers and people who are like already full time authors,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they could be. I offer them editing, like I said. Editing could be of three types, three to four types. I do
Mm-hmm.
everything. I do proofreading, I do copy editing, I do developmental editing, and I also do sometimes, like last minute character development if you
Right.
need that, if I feel like, and pacing. I also give you like how do you like how what is, I don't know what it's called, if forgetting the name for that kind of editing, but you go like you read the whole manuscript at one go and you just give suggestions. So it
Mm,
could be a kind of developmental editing, but it's different, because
right.
developmental editing also one gets you to edit the manuscript, but this is just me giving suggestions on like a critique. Oh
Got
yeah,
it. Yeah.
critique.
Critique.
So
Yes.
that's the editing part. I also help people with ghostwriting short books.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot write more than 30K.
Right.
So, like, trade books, people sometimes want to publish how to start my first blog or
Yeah.
how to start my online business, books like that. I will write, or self help. I can write like short books. I do ghostwrite. I've done ghostwriting for a couple of uh, clients that I got from a book. So I've done
Right.
that. I've also written like short stories for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that I what are the services? Yeah, also set up people's. If you are not like technologically secure, I will like not only edit your book, I will also design you the cover, and I will also set up the whole Amazon account or wherever you want
Right.
to publish. It's your decision. I will go and make your book available everywhere because I
Mm-hmm.
have that software on my computer. I can do the formatting as well. So
Right.
I do everything. I give them, like, people when they come to me, I give
Yeah.
them the option to like either get the editing or get like editing, formatting, and that. And also I, in that package, when you go through with me setting up your whole account, I also make them like marketing posts that they can share,
Right.
like to build like a cover reveal that they can share with their on their platforms like Facebook, Twitter,
Mm.
to build anticipation, like marketing.
Right.
So I also help people with that, since I've explored LinkedIn for a whole year, and I've gotten a lot of trending posts on LinkedIn.
Right.
So I know what people respond to. So,
Yeah.
and I do not do that anymore because people are uh, there's a kind of thing on LinkedIn going on right now, and I know what kind of posts that go
Right.
and be trending. Most of them are reposts from someone else from US or UK. And but
Right.
what LinkedIn is lacking right now is original posts, original thought processes,
Right.
which is like, yeah, I told you about the editing and I told you about the writing. I will also, if like authors want it, I will do like a book review that I did for my client, like a video book reveal or like a review if you would want me to do that. Like that's like extra services for people who need it, like just like an extra if they would want it to be. So I do that. I also can write a book review for you, that I can run it. Like if you want me to, then I can submit it to magazines, and because I can also do that as well, that kind of marketing as well. Or I can also post it on my blog, which has been inactive, but I can always run it again since it already had a lot of followers. So yeah, those are the kind of services I provide my clients. Sometimes people also need like a writing coach. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been also giving that services because people
Okay.
need like a writing mentor to
Right.
keep them like on the path and help them to write and give them suggestions, like, should I go with for the traditional publishing route, should I go for the self publishing, what's best for me. Like I said,
Right.
if you do not have a mentor, you have to learn all of this by yourself by being a wallflower. So it's that process speeds itself up if you have like a coach by your side. So people can also get that for like for however long as they want, but I give them like 30 days and I charge them something, and they can get like whatever advice or help or support that they need. So yeah, right now I'm just giving these many services too. I want people to write their books and publish, self publish,
Yes.
because when you go with traditional
Right.
publishing, the publishing houses cut like a lot of, like, you get like 10% of the whole
Right.
sale per book.
Yeah.
You get like very small royalties. And like I said, the
Mm.
boom is happening right now on Amazon. You just need to ride that wave. But you can
Yes.
only ride the wave if you know how to write the book and how to market it and how to put it out there. So
True.
yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you for letting us know about the services that you're offering.
You're
I want to
welcome.
know. I want to know how has it been in your experience as an author and also in helping others to publish?
I just bond with my clients. Normally, I do not do that, but for some reason, the people I've worked with, I bond with them, and I kind of get like where a person is in their writing journey, like how much advice do they need, and where they are in their writing path. Because
Yes.
when they speak and the specific problems they are having or they've had, I've also had them. You know, now I know better because
Right.
I've researched and amassed and read books and taken courses and resources. I've had mentors. So like I paid for a writing coach myself. So I've learned all these things. So I know where a person is and I know how exactly to help them. And they can
Right.
decide for themselves, like the last decision is theirs. I'm just here to aid you on your journey with the best,
Right.
I can do.
All right. Okay. So Anjali, could you let us know what are your current projects at the moment? What are the books that you're working on? I know you're excited to talk about
Right
it.
now,
Yes. Or is it
yeah,
still, it's not to be spoken at the moment?
no, I've just published like two books since
Mm-hmm.
March. So one
Right.
was, like I told you, the full length novel. I'm working on the
Yes.
second edition of that novel. I've also published that poetry book that I told you about. I'm right
Right.
now writing a serialized fiction novel on Radish. It's a LGBTQ story that people can read, and
Oh,
it's like
okay.
on way to unlock, so that feature enables you to read it for free if you do not want to pay coins, but you have to wait for like a certain amount of time. Right now it's scheduled on like
Right.
24 hours, but my other
I think I've
stories are like an hour or 15 hours or like 5 hours, so it's like
all right.
really mixed up, and I have around 5 or 6 books up there so people can read. Some books are finished, so people can
Right.
either decide to pay. I have my books like on a flexible, you know um flexible
A rotation kind?
yeah, a flexible paywall, on a flexible paywall, so people can either choose
All
to
right.
pay or they can just wait out like 5 hours or 12 hours or 24 hours. So my different books have like a
Right.
different way to unlock feature. So if I want my audience or my
Okay.
readers to go and read as much as they can, and if they do not want to pay, that's fine by me. And even like Radish holds like so many coin events. Like if you do not want to pay for coins, Radish gives you coins. And also you can like get 6 coins per day by watching like 6 small ads, 15 to 30
All right.
seconds ads. So you can also do that, and you can unlock the stories if you want to read the next chapter. The point is to like get an audience and also like encourage readers to read more. So
Yeah.
uh another I've also started another book, another like contemporary adult romance that is called Chained to the
Oh.
Institution. So
All
I'm
right.
really excited to write what that's going to be a spicy read, but it's going to be like a dark romance. It's going to have like thriller elements. I'm waiting to write that. So also I'm working on that Indian novel that I mentioned earlier in the in this episode. I told you like I'm
Yes.
already working on the second draft, so it should go up in like a month or two. So that's like
Wow.
a but remember the kind of serials it used to come. I was like really small when they were popular. It was like normal high school romance kind of
Ah,
happy comedy kind of serials. It's
right.
like something like that in a book. So
All
that's
right.
something I'm working on right now, and I have a few projects in line, but I will not speak about them because they are in the like a you know outlining process. So when they are like
All right.
more finished, I will share them with you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so wonderful to know that you're working on a lot of projects, and well, all the
Yeah, I
best
enjoy
to you
writing.
on all of those. Wonderful. All right. So Anjali, could you tell us how has the pandemic affected your work or your business? I mean, both in a positive or a negative way. Is it something like you have got more clients to help out, like more people who are writing books at this point in time, because they've got some time on their hands, and it's
Yeah,
increased, I
thank
mean,
you. It's
with
all.
respect to that. Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, the pandemic has
Correct.
affected everyone, like we know, and every it has affected
Right.
everyone in a negative way. As much as I like to say that it has been in a positive way. The pandemic has really killed the market. Everything, like even content writing, even there were some clients who will pop up for, can you write articles for me? Can you write features or blog posts or anything, like anything related to writing? Those clients
Right.
have like literally gone to crickets. You do not
Mm.
really get any clients, and it's really difficult for people like me who do not have like a centered job, and we are all struggling and we all know that. But uh,
Mm.
if but what I tell myself is that writing is one of the greatest loves of my life, and I will pursue it no matter what. And you should explore all of your options to keep you afloat at this time. That's
Right.
what my central idea is, and at least that's what I'm telling myself. you know what can we do?
So the last question being, so especially during this time, of course, we're talking about the pandemic. So well-being is of utmost importance. So what is your well-being routine like, and what do you indulge in apart from writing?
I, like you said, we have to take care of our bodies. I've already fallen sick twice
Mm-hmm.
since December, and
Yeah.
I've been out. I feel like I've had COVID, but who knows? Because I've been sick
Yeah.
for so long. That's what everybody told me, but I'm
Right.
choosing not to believe them. I do yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get my regular 10,000 steps. Walking inside the apartment, I'll try to like watch my daily dose of YouTube videos, just walking. And perhaps I will do like a podcast with you,
Right.
or I will go on Clubhouse. I also do like rooms that's similar as a podcast. Everybody gets to share their experiences. My author community is there,
Right.
so we will also share our
Okay.
experiences, problems, a gripe, whatever, and I will do that walking. So I try to get my 10,000 steps in. I'll do. I'll also try to do yoga like at least 20 minutes per day to stretch out my muscles, and that's all the exercise I'm getting inside the house. Unfortunately, I
Wha-
wish I could say I was more active before this. I used to go to gym. I would work out like
Right.
2 hours. I would do weight training. I was in great
Yeah.
shape, but then the pandemic happened and we've been stuck for 2 years inside our houses. So we have to
Yes.
make do with what we have.
Absolutely. Yes. Make do with whatever resources at hand. And of course, but
Yeah.
keeping ourselves, our mental well being and physical well being of utmost importance. So, yes.
Also, like when I get overwhelmed, like we are also suffering with so much anxiety
Hmm.
and,
Right.
grim depression sometimes. So I will
Yes.
write in my journal. I have it on my
Ah, yes.
table. I always try to write whatever is bugging me. I feel like it helps. I think physical well-being is one aspect of your overall well-being. I feel like mental health is just as important, and
True.
you need to work on keeping that afloat. So I feel like there are two parts of the coin. So
Yeah.
physical well-being gets you walking, and mental well-being gets you writing about your thoughts, whatever is getting you down. Perhaps sometimes I talk to my friends for an hour or something, just to let it go,
Yes.
so I feel less alone. It gets lonely. It has gotten quite lonely. You're not able to hug your friends. Haven't seen them. You haven't gone outside. At
Yeah.
least I haven't even went outside to eat in like 2 years.
Right.
That's a lot. Not seen a movie in a movie theater in 2 years.
Yes. Yes.
Miss
Yes.
all of
So
that.
true. Yeah.
Miss all of that. It's an experience. I even miss shopping in malls, which I never thought I would, which is weird. But yeah, that's
Yes.
what life has brought us to.
Yes, I think as you mentioned, we just have to take care of our well-being, be it physical or mental, and just hoping
Yeah.
that things get better and we're out there.
We'll get through
Yes,
this.
yes,
This,
we will.
like I tell everyone, this too shall pass. Just take care
Yes,
of your mental well-being, take care of your family, take care of your physical health, work out, dress up. Like I dressed up for this, even though I haven't
yeah,
dressed up in like a month or two. I was like, I'm
right.
going on to be a podcast. Might as well get a little bit dressed up, you know, for
Lovely,
this. Why
lovely.
not? So just keep keep making yourself feel good in whatever way you can, even if it's like walking 10,000 steps, talking to a friend, writing in your diary, let all of your emotions out in one way or the other. Listen to other people. Sometimes your friends also need you. You don't just need them, your friends
Yes,
also need you. So be of help
true.
and help others. It's I feel like no these days relationships have become give and take, but I feel like we should give more than we should take, like taking is good and all, but sometimes
Yeah.
giving is just as fun. People should try it.
Absolutely. So lovely and so beautiful for you to say all of that. And yes, we will get through this, and this too shall pass.
Yeah.
All right, Anjali. So we come to the last section, which I call as the Pruner Spotlight section. So I'm going to run you through a few questions. It could be on the personal or the professional front. So you could answer to me in a word or two, or a sentence or
Okay.
two. I leave it totally up to you. So do we
All
get
right.
started?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Let's
I
do it.
think I already know the answer to the first question. I know what you're gonna say, but nevertheless, okay. So what is your ikigai? So ikigai is nothing but the reason for your being. So what is that one thing that you would do no matter what is happening around the world on any given day?
I will get on this table that I'm sitting and doing the podcast right now and grab my watercolor set and I'm going to paint. I
All
do not
right.
care about what's going. I mean, no matter what happens, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I do.
Perfect.
That's what has
Oh.
kept me sane, making weird roses during the
Yes.
pandemic.
Lovely, lovely. Okay. Um okay, I know this is going to be a difficult question for you, but any book which has inspired you?
There have been a lot of books. I told you about Enid Blyton. I told you about Famous Five. Mallory
Yes.
Jarvis' book. I have read so many books. I can't. The
I-
Great Gatsby. The this book that's on my table. I have a lot of books. I have The Godfather.
oh
I
yeah.
just have books on my table. I read a lot.
I'm sure you cannot pick one, isn't it?
Writing bird by bird. So many books.
Ah, all
The
right.
perks of being a wallflower. Like
Wallflower, yeah.
that's how I've learned to be a wallflower. Just to be there and soak up as much information. So many books. Which one
Lovely.
should I choose?
I know it's hard to choose. I mean, asking a writer, it's really hard for us to choose one book. All right. Okay. So hypothetically, if you turn out to be the richest person in the world tomorrow, what would you like
Mm-hmm.
to do? Or would you continue to do what you're already doing?
I will continue to do what I'm already doing, but I would like to make a series, something similar to Gossip Girl, and play Blair Waldorf. That is my one ultimate dream.
All
To
right.
be some sassiest girl in some TV series.
Okay. All right. My next question is uh, any masterpiece of a book that you wish you had written?
Oh, there's so many again. But one book that I wish I would have written was this book, which has Holden Caulfield. What was that book's name? It's written about.
Uh-huh.
I have earmarked it.
All
One
right.
sec. I can tell you the name. It is in this book as well.
Yeah.
Mm. Catcher in the Rye. Yeah, it has
Ah,
Holden Caulfield.
yes,
And
yes.
I felt so seen by Holden Caulfield.
Mm-hmm.
Caulfield. Caldenfield. Sorry,
That's
I
fine.
cannot speak right. I cannot speak right now. But let me just call him Holden. But when I
Yes,
read about him, I felt so seen because everything that's written in Catcher in the Rye, I felt at some moment in time because I feel like I'm stuck there. Don't you get sometimes some feelings where you're like stuck in a book and you're like, oh, I relate to this so much
yeah,
because I was that person, or some part of me
yes,
was that person. Yeah, Catcher in the Rye. Wish
true.
I've written that. Well, it's a very cool
All,
book.
all right, perfect. Yes. All right. My last question is, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is it's very simple. Even the past
Mm-hmm.
year or so, I've realized that we do not need a lot of things to be happy. We do not need a lot of material things to be happy.
Yeah, yeah.
I think my definition of success would be to live in Paris,
Ah,
or should I call it Paris,
Puri, I
and write
know.
write books, speak fluent French. I'm working on it, and eat croissants and write and gaze at the sun, and then come back to my really nice apartment. I want a nice apartment though. I'm materialistic like that, and to do my watercolors, and perhaps a nice French guy because why not?
Oh, wow. Amazing, the
That's all I
French
want.
life.
Yeah, and just
Lovely.
enough money to sustain that lifestyle. That
Yes.
just money enough that sustains that lifestyle, and nothing else. I just want to live my life, the best
Yeah.
life I can. The best version of myself. Yeah, I feel like
All right.
that is success.
All right. Okay, the best version of yourself. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
What is one key takeaway that you want to give the audience? It could be any it could be a tip or a lesson to the new pruners out there, or the ones who are starting on a journey, and what would you like to say to them?
I get this question a lot by new and entrepreneurs, whether they write or whatever, and it is
Yes.
very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Writers ask me like, how can I get successful? How can I be a better writer? I tell them, write consistently. And to new entrepreneurs, they're also asking me the same thing, like, how do I get successful in my business? How can I
Yes.
get more eyes on my book? How can I do this? How can I do that? The one thing is to never give up.
Yeah.
Do whatever you're doing consistently. Even if you're like, I don't know, if you have like a range of skincare products and if you want to sell them, what's the one thing that can take you in that direction to get your first customer? You have to put yourself out there consistently.
Yes.
One marketing post, not if you do not want to do the whole Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, then choose one, whichever platform you like, whichever platform gives you a sense of community. Pick one and do it daily. Make goals for yourself, like this week I will put my products in front of 100 people, and do
Right.
that.
Yes.
Then jump on the next step and the next step, because when you're on a path, the next step reveals itself to you.
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
I started writing with not even knowing where to use punctuation, and look at where I am. If
Yes.
I had given up in the first week when I wrote that imperfect, cringy chapter, and now I have also, if you go and look for that book on Wattpad, let me tell you, you can't find it because I've deleted it. So,
Oh.
yeah,
All right.
that's why I've done it, so I can speak as much about it as I want, but nobody can find it because it was so cringy, so I deleted it. So if I gave up on that first chapter, on that first week, and you know what? I sent it to one of my best friends from school, and she killed me with her constructive criticism. She was like, this
Right.
is wrong, that is wrong, this is wrong, that is wrong. And if
Yeah.
I've taken her feedback to heart and be like, yeah, I write so badly, maybe I should never do it again, then I
Ah,
would have not been here, you know. You have
right.
to just do it. Stick
Yes.
to it. If you like it enough, you'll succeed. Success comes to you, but you also have to have a love for what you're doing. That's the most important part of anything.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you for that insight and
Love
lesson.
Loved talking to you this afternoon, and I hope you had a fun. You had a fun interview talking to me as well.
Oh,
I'm so grateful for being here. I've enjoyed it.
well, thank you, Anjali. Well, before you we leave, how can anyone reach out to you?
Um, I will give you a lot of my links.
Sure.
You On Instagram, I'm author Anjali Sinha. You
All
can
right.
just check that on author handle. I have the same name on Facebook, like I have a writer's page. You can connect with me on that. On Radish app. I'm Anjali Sinha. If you write that, you'll get me because I'm the only Anjali Sinha there. That's
All right.
flip. Also, you can, if you do that on Wattpad, you can also find me, and one of my books have like around 100,000 reads. You can go read that. It's not that bad. I've edited no. On Also, on LinkedIn, you can find me by the Anjali Sinha. I've edited that URL. So also, I can send you links in my LinkedIn chat if you would want it. So, and
Absolutely.
on Twitter, I am Anjali Sinha WP. So, yeah, you can also find me on Twitter by that way.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I shall surely share these links in the episode description. And
I will
again,
love that.
thank you for this amazing conversation. I have had an insightful, and I just loved talking to a fellow writer, and to talk about words,
Love
the
talking to you.
stories, and the whole the journey behind of being a writer. I think that's just beautiful, and I'm so honored to have you on my show. So Anjali, thank you so much for being out here
Love
today.
being
I
here.
just had a lovely
I love
day.
being here.